This series was funded by great viewers just like you over on Patreon. Check out the description or end of the video to hear how you can take part in making the show even more amazing. Hey everyone, Gaijin Goombah here, and welcome to another episode of Which Ninja, a series that looks at media's most popular shinobi to see which are good and which are bad.
And today we're going to be tackling one of the oldest of old school gaming shinobi, Shadowman from Mega Man 3. Now we want to go on record in saying that this month's Which Ninja Patreon poll was the closest we've ever seen. A dead 25-25 vote between Shadowman and Zero. Sorry Ane, maybe next time. We actually had to be the one to step in and decide which to cover, and trust me, we have tons to say chalking up Zero as one of gaming's most accurate ninja. But with the recent release of the amazing Mega Maker, we felt like a nice nod to the Blue Bomber was more than called for.
Also, for the sake of length, we're only going to be covering Shadowman from traditional Mega Man games. That means no Battle Network games and no third-party comics like Megamix. Granted, there's a ton of legit ninja stuff about Shadowman in those games and comics, but we just want to keep it simple because, good lord, there's already a lot to talk about in the core games.
Like what exactly?
Well, let's start off with one of the most basic things that we could analyze, his color. Shadowman's traditional design has him sporting a dark blue base with white accents and a silver Hira-style shuriken on his forehead.
Yeah, that made me think. Wouldn't the silver shuriken on his forehead and white accents actually make him stick out more than anything?
Well, considering Shadowman is actually a repurposed star droid robot from an ancient alien civilization, I assume Dr. Wiley only had so much to work with. But like I said, those were accents to his overall dark blue design. Now, one of the biggest fundamental flaws about popular media's depictions of ninjas are their solid black outfits that they wear. The argument is, of course, that black would be hard to see in the dark, which is theoretically true, but let's put that to the test, shall we? Little G?
Okay, so let's take a replicated picture of a night sky before modern technology. This is a pretty good one, no obvious light pollution, good view of the stars. Now then, which ninja is harder to see? This one or this one?
See, that's something that people forget. A pure night sky isn't solid black, it's dark, dark blue. Though nowadays light pollution can skew our perception of the night sky to seem more black, back in the day before public lighting ever existed, the reflection of the light from the stars and the moon gave the night sky a deep blue look matching Earth's natural atmospheric color. So of course, if you're going off sneaking around in the middle of the night in 1500s Japan, you're gonna want to blend in with that dark blue night sky.
Yeah, but what about his weapon, the Shadow Blade? I haven't seen Shinobi overcompensation this bad since Naruto's Fuma Shuriken, which not only looked too heavy for a lightweight ninja to carry properly, but dang near impossible to realistically throw.
Well, agreed, but while historically speaking no such giant shuriken ever made it into common practice, that doesn't mean that a giant shuriken wouldn't be efficient as a weapon or even as an everyday tool. Heck, the guys over at the YouTube channel Sharp Blades actually made a legit oversized Hira shuriken, and the crazy thing is that not only is it efficient, it's incredibly light. The steel kamikaze shuriken, as they call it, for its massive size, weighs under 3 pounds. That's less than a bag of oranges. And because of its lightweight, it's very easy to use not only as a very effective piercing weapon, but also as a survival tool which ninja always needed.
Huh. You know, the more I think about it too, for as limiting as the NES was, the way Shadowman threw the Shadow Blade was also pretty dang accurate.
Right? Though there were train techniques that allowed a ninja to throw reverse sidearm style like we see in a lot of anime, this was extremely tricky to pull off in order to hit your target. The standard method of throwing Hira shuriken was called Hasso, or 8 phases, a very simple but very fast and fluid motion that would hit your target in a fraction of a second. And if you look carefully at the sprite animation, you can actually see Shadowman throwing the Shadow Blade similarly to the Hasso style.
Well, that is some finite detail for Shadowman himself, but what about his stage? It looks like you're fighting through some kind of thermal power plant to get to him. So, yeah, not very ninja-like.
Well, the background sure doesn't feel very ninja-like, but the stage enemies, of which many are unique to this stage, are very in theme with Shinobi. For starters, you got the hologram, a simple stationary device that sends out an illusionary hologram making the stage look like space until destroyed or it moves off screen. This is what you might call a high-tech form of Genjutsu. Loosely meaning vision technique, Genjutsu refers to any and all visual illusions used to manipulate and distract the targets of the ninja. On a small scale, this could be something like a ninja using a horrifying mask to essentially jump scare their target. However, it could also be a much broader technique such as Edo Wonderland's Kai Kai Tei Ninja House, which bends the viewer's perception to cause them to falter and even fall down. Trying to fight a ninja on their home turf was always proven difficult by the sheer number of tricks and illusions a ninja house would have, and Shadowman stage is absolutely no different.
Wait, you mean even the goofy-looking parachutes have ninja relevance?
Actually, yeah. You ever see that trope of ninjas using parachutes or kites to fly around? Well, there's little evidence to prove otherwise, but this trope might not be as fictional as we think it is. In the book Koga Ninjutsu Gokuhi, or Secret Arts of Koga, during a castle siege by Minamoto Yoshie back in the 11th century, a ninja by the name of Genzo Hattori created a giant kite and on a dark, windy night dropped sparks and bombs into the castle that Minamoto was attacking. The kite technique became famous within the Akutagawa school of ninjutsu, but as far as we know, the exact technique was only taught by word of mouth like so many other ninja techniques, making the legitimacy of this technique rather impossible. While both Iga and Koga have tales of ninja using such kites as escape mechanisms via Tonso Jutsu, it seems unlikely that true ninjas could pull off such a feat. But hey, I've heard stranger accomplishments from Shinobi.
I suppose the walking bombs are also apparently steeped in ninja culture as well, huh?
Well, considering how Shadowman's stage utilizes them, absolutely. A lot of people are under the impression that ninjas almost exclusively use traditional weapons like swords, shuriken, and poisons. But the fact of the matter is that ninja made it a point to always dabble in the latest technology, including Tanegashima matchlock rifles and bombs. Bombs, ninjas loved them. Not only because of their destructive capability, but more so for their surprising power. A ninja's hand grenade called a Horokuhiya wasn't necessarily used to cause damage or kill, but rather to scare the ever-loving crap out of their enemies.
So, going back to Shadowman stage, the walking bombs may not seem like much by themselves being defeated in one hit, but I guess when you consider that they cause an explosion after death and only come out when the holograms skew the player's vision, it can be more than a little disorienting getting knocked around the map that you can't even see, just like how real ninja would disorient their opponents with explosions.
But this is just one iteration of Shadowman. What makes him a great ninja extends even further when you get into some of the spin-off games.
Like what?
Mega Man 2 Power Fighters for one. An interesting take on the Mega Man formula spun into a fighting game. In the fight with Shadowman, he seems to attack in the exact same way that he always has. Tons of jumping, a little bit of sliding, and a bunch of Shadow Blade shuriken tossing. But in this game, he's got a few new tricks. The first of which being the Makibishi that he tosses on the ground.
Okay, sure, but what makes that so special? It's kinda commonplace that ninja, heck, tons of civilizations use these tools to escape pursuers. What makes this any different?
See, I thought that way for a while too, but after digging through a lot of my research books and materials, I came to find out that, like a lot of other ninja tool use, how they were actually used is far different than how media portrays them. We tend to think that caltrops, makibishi, whatever you want to call them, were thrown out while the carrier was being pursued. However, when you really think about it, how effective would that be? Unless you got a huge lead, your pursuer could easily just see you tossing them out and just avoid them. Instead, Shinobi would actually scatter them on the ground in patches prior to any engagement with the enemy. This allowed the ninja to manipulate the enemies more so than if they just threw them behind as they ran. Going back to Power Fighter, Shadowman scatters Makibishi on the ground not as a direct escape method, but as a way to control where the player can move and jump, which is infinitely more frustrating.
Huh, I guess that is pretty cool when you... what was that?
What? It's a croaker from Mega Man 4.
Yeah, but why though? I mean, we see in media so many depictions of frogs associated with ninja, but why is that exactly? Wouldn't it make more sense for a ninja to have an association with something more sneaky? Like a cat, a raccoon, a snake, even a spider would make more sense.
For that answer we have to look into the story of Jiraiya, his companion and lover Tsunade, and their bitter enemy Orochimaru. No guys, I'm talking about the original Jiraiya Setsua, written by Onitake Kanwate in 1806. Now in the story, Jiraiya starts off as an everyman in the countryside until he finds a massive toad being tortured by an even bigger snake deeper in the woods. With unexpected power and cunning, Jiraiya actually drives the serpent away, and in a gesture of gratitude, the massive toad taught Jiraiya the ways of frog magic. This gave him the ability to summon a massive spectral amphibian with the power to exhale magical smoke that could create almost anything at will, from elements like fire to solid objects. It was said that one of Jiraiya's favorite methods of escape was to create a bridge over a valley or a gorge using his toad's magical breath, only to have it disappear under the feet of his pursuers as they tumble to the ground. That's why you see Shadowman on the back of a giant croaker not only in Power Fighters, but also driving in a croaker car in Mega Man Battle and Chase.
Man, speaking of Naruto, listen closely to Shadowman when his croaker uses that flamethrower. I know actual jutsus don't have much to do with chakra energies and the like, but why call out a flamethrower as a jutsu?
Well, honestly, because it wasn't the physical action of the shinobi that made the jutsu, but the tool used in favor of the shinobi. Kato no jutsu isn't a singular technique, but rather a general term for a set of skills with different fire-producing items. The above-mentioned Horokuhiya bombs, Okunihiya fire arrows, even Torinoko smoke bombs would fall under this category. So honestly, if ninja had access to flamethrowers back in the day, it would still classify as a Kato no jutsu. You know, it's funny, when I first started researching Shadowman, I expected him to be just another mainstream ninja pretender. But whether Capcom meant to or not, they actually did a fantastic job at creating a character that mirrors his ninja origin amazingly well. And like I said before, other Mega Man games and comics do an even greater job at showing off Shadowman's true shinobi origin, but man, we'd be here all day if I got into those. So as always, thanks for watching everyone, and a massive thank you to my patrons who allow me to keep making this show that I love so very much. And if you want to support the show and get access to some nifty rewards, check out those annotations on screen or link below. If not, I got tons of other videos analyzing media's most popular ninja. Check them out to see which are good and which are bad. Otherwise, gang, until next time, this is Gaijin Goombah, signing out.